Where all the
I got it. I've got it. Okay. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport's US Chapter Forum for November. For those of you that don't know the Chartered Institute, or CILT, we're an organization for professionals who work within the transportation and logistics industries. That's everything from air travel to maritime, freight and passenger. And we are an international organization over something like 40 countries around the world, with about 35,000 members. One of the key things that we do is we help with people's continued professional development. We also encourage students to study topics, subjects within the transportation industry. And we also hold networking and information events. And I think tonight we're probably covering all of those bases because we have a special presentation from the Vaughn College of Aeronautics and Technology in New York. And I'm delighted that they've been able to kind of join us this evening because we're going to hear about that college in terms of what it does, what the courses and education that it offers, the professional development that it has. And also, what's really good tonight is this isn't just the faculty and the staff. We have some students, past and present, who are going to talk about their experiences. So I think for anybody that is interested in careers in the aviation industry, this is a great opportunity to hear about Vaughn College. Our format tonight is that we're going to have 7 speakers, and I'm going to let each of them talk for 4 or 5 minutes each. And then hopefully that should leave us a little bit of time for questions as well at the end. So if you do have any questions, please pop those into the chat function. We'll get to as many as we can. And I'm sure we can kind of cover up any that we don't get to today after the event. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen, and I'd like to introduce the president and CEO of Vaughn College. So Dr. Sharon DeVivo. I will give you the floor. Just give me 1 second to pull up your slides. Okay. Hopefully everybody can see the slides.
Yes.
Over to you, Sharon.
Okay, terrific. Well, thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you so much to Jennifer Clay-Coots, who's brought Siltna into our life, and really excited to be here tonight, especially because 4 of the folks on the panel are students or alumni who tell the story best. For those of you that are not familiar with our institution, right across the street from LaGuardia Airport, we've been around since '32 and came to New York City at the request of Fiorello LaGuardia, who knew our founders and wanted to have this airport in New York and wanted to have the training and the workforce pipeline right next door. It was very forward thinking of him in the 1930s to do that. So we've been around for more than 90 years and have always represented the incredible borough that is Queens, as well as the other boroughs. But Queens is very special because it's the most diverse county in the country, probably the world, right? And is the gateway to America for many new immigrants. And our student population has gone through lots of changes, as you can imagine, over the course of time. And today we have more than 1,300 students, more than 80% from underrepresented backgrounds, and a number of students who also come from under-resourced communities. So not folks that you that typically have awareness to all the amazing, life-changing career opportunities available in aviation and aerospace. We often find that we have to create sort of the demand for ourselves because so many folks just think of it as pilots and flight attendants, and that's the whole industry. So, and as all of you know, that is so not the case. And so we offer master's, bachelor's, associate's degrees, and certificates in all aspects of aviation, engineering, technology, and management. So Dr. Lubner, who's on the panel tonight, leads our management department, which includes airport, airline, and general management. Jonathan Sypek, also an alum, who now teaches for us in our engineering and technology department. We offer 4 different kinds of engineering, computer science, and a few at the engineering technology, little less math and science. We do flight training, so we produce pilots. And one of our largest programs is aviation maintenance training. So that's our legacy program. That's what we've done for all of our history, but always had a small design program, and that's how we grew into engineering. We've got a couple of things that are really evidence of our outcomes. So Chaundra is going to talk a little bit more in detail about the fact that 95% of our students are employed or continuing their education within 1 year of graduation. In my entire 29 years at Vaughn, only once did it dip below 90%, and that was during COVID. So it's always been an awesome opportunity for students and their families. The other one is that Vaughn is the best institution in the United States.
I think, Andrew, if you would put the next couple of slides. Oh, there.
Yeah, is the best at moving students from the bottom 40% in income to the top. And it measured 2,100 institutions, and it measured students when they were 35. I don't know what's special about 35 and what it says about the rest of your life, but apparently it's a good indicator of your trajectory. And so that's just evidence that not only does Vaughn provide a great educational experience, but it says a lot about the industries that our students join. So yeah, you can sort of see here some of the things that we are very much known for. It's been an incredible journey here. One of the reasons, and I know my colleagues share the same feeling, that we stay or we come back after we graduate, as is the case, as is in Jonathan's case and Otha's case as well, who adjuncts for us, is that it is just such a kick to walk alongside students as they try to figure out their pathway in aviation. Most come to us knowing they want to be in this field, and then providing them industry connections, support for what we call student experience grants, which means we will often send students to NIAMA, the New York Aviation Managers Association meetings, or to the Women in Aviation Conference, or to AAAE conferences, or any of the number of engineering conferences, Women in Engineering, National Society of Black Engineers, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, skills maintenance competitions, whether it's for maintenance, robotics, UAVs. We know that getting our students out into the field, so to speak, is the way that they network, land internships, and then land positions. And we know sometimes there can be a real financial barrier to that. And so we are very happy to help students attend those events and cover the costs so that they can continue to contribute to that 95%, sometimes 98 or 99% placement rate. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about Vaughn and who we are. Next time you fly into LaGuardia, you have to take a look across the street. And it's so funny that we would be having this conversation at what looks like will be the largest traffic in our history over the next 5 days, right? So, middle July was the last peak, I think July 3rd in the US, and they're saying over this next 5 days, we're going to hit 18.3 million, 6% higher than it was last year. And global traffic is going to be up another 10% over last year. So, this is a field that for the next 20 years, we're going to see increases. And Vaughn is really thrilled to be able to provide the workforce pipeline for that success.
Superb. Thank you for that, Sharon. And
Yeah.
I think I didn't keep up with you.
That's okay. I said all this. I said all this, so you're fine.
You said all. Okay. And then we have a short video as well.
Yeah, this is a tour. This is a virtual tour.
Yes. So let me just get this actually opened on YouTube. Let me just make sure everybody's going to be able to hear that. Yes, they are. So here we go.
Are you ready for takeoff? Let's get started on your Vaughn College tour. Up from the lobby to the observation tower with sweeping views of Manhattan just minutes away and bustling LaGuardia Airport. And then over to our air traffic control lab, fully equipped with radar and tower simulators for a true airport training experience, where you can plot the trajectory of the skies as well as your path to a future-proof career. But let's keep on moving forward because that's the Vaughn College way. We're always looking toward the future because there's so much more ahead. Check out one of our mini engineering labs where you'll get hands-on with smart grid power systems and energy conversion technologies to experience the future of engineering in America. Then, on to the mechatronic systems labs. And while you're here, meet Vaughn's world champion robotics team, where they're actually designing and building the future right now. Vaughn has an on-site residence hall too, with housing for 200 students, so you can live here and study here. And this is our fully equipped library, where students come together to tap a vast storehouse of information and for friendly collaboration. Then take to the skies in our state-of-the-art flight simulator complex. That's Vaughn College, where you can fly higher and become future-proof, guaranteed.
Okay. So we'll go back onto the slides now, and now I'll welcome Jonathan.
Thank you, Andrew. Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon to wherever you are. My name is Professor Jonathan Sypek. I teach in the Engineering and Technology Department. And as Dr. DeVivo said, I am a former graduate. I received my Bachelor's of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering Technology several years ago. I do want to give a shout out to a former student, Otha Ward, who took my one course with me and left a very big impression. It's great to see him back, not only as an adjunct faculty member, but also as somebody who's done amazing things. Definitely it's because of me, but you know, just saying. As Dr. DeVivo mentioned, one of the many things that we offer here at Vaughn College are degrees in engineering and engineering technology, focused in many ways in aviation, but also in every aspect of engineering possible. We pride ourselves on how closely we connect with the industry. Many schools still focus on a pure academic approach to engineering, whereas our department chair, Dr. Hossein Rahimi, has prided himself on keeping very close ties to the industry advisory panel for our department. We host many events in which the industry tells us, like you guys, what is going on? What can we do better to better make our students fit into the job system better? They're going to go right into what they need to know. And in many ways, we offer many events where they can directly tell us while also telling our students what to be prepared for. Some of our events that we host, for example, is our annual Manufacturing Day, which we actually just had last month. We invite industry experts in manufacturing, 3D printing, CNCing, et cetera, to talk about what are the advancements in this very important field, many of which are former graduates who are going into those programs and telling us this is what we saw, this is what our students need. We also engage with students to see this is what you need to be staying on top of. We also host an annual Technology Day in which our students present their degree projects to members of the industry. I myself did this when I was about to graduate. I did a degree project in aircraft design. I had to present in front of members of the aviation industry like Boeing and Sikorsky. It is somewhat scary to be a senior in your bachelor's program and talking to people from Boeing and Sikorsky about an aircraft design. And yet they give very powerful constructive criticism because they see you as an equal. And that comes from the fact that we have that strong connection. And in addition to that, our department chair publishes our work in a journal so that we can keep on top of the whole kind of publish and die concept. Andrew, if you want to go to the next slide. Important as well, and Dr. DeVivo mentioned it, is that we have a lot of different student organizations and clubs which offer not just competitive activities, but also scholarly activities to keep them engaged in the industry. As the wonderful tour mentioned, we have a world championship winning VCAT robotics team that competes in the VEX-U robotics championships and regional championships every year, also giving back to the society. We have a very good drone team, which has participated in our Drone Safety Day. They've also participated and competed in the annual Micro Air Vehicle Challenge, winning various awards. And we are very, very proud and happy of the various clubs and societies that project our students into the field, like our Society of Women Engineers, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, National Society of Black Engineers, and many others. So I think you should see that we at Vaughn take it very seriously, that being industry focused prepares your students and keeps us on the cutting edge for what engineering will be in the future, not just in aviation, which we do best, but in many different aspects. At this time, I'd like to send this off to Dr. Maxine Lubner, Chair of the Management Department, to continue the discussion. Thanks, everyone.
Maxine, you're on mute.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes, I am chair of the management department and formerly of the aviation department. I have a private pilot certificate that was about all the justification we needed for me to do that. So I'll try and give you a brief overview of the programs that we have in both those areas. As Dr. DeVivo mentioned, we have flight air traffic control and maintenance management. So in the first row of pictures, you can see the students learn to fly single engine propeller planes at the beginning. They move on to multi-engine and more advanced certificates and FAA, Federal Aviation Administration certificates. As they progress through their degrees, they can go all the way up to becoming a flight instructor, a professional instructor at the end of their bachelor's program. We have air traffic control training, which is part of a partnership with the Federal Aviation Administration called the Collegiate Training Initiative that partners with 36 colleges around the country to offer training that they prescribe so that they have aviation professionals at the ready. If students graduate and are hired, they can be exempt from some of the formal training that FAA requires, and they can go into working in the variety of facilities of air traffic control, which is a tremendously enjoyable job. The controllers love their work. And you can see the simulator, the college simulators in the middle row of pictures. And then finally, as Dr. DeVivo mentioned, we have maintenance training. So students can earn their airframe and power plant certificate, FAA certificate, and add it, if they want, into a degree to get maintenance management so they can graduate into a supervisory position. Next, as in the management department, we offer a general business curriculum. In all the degree programs, we have a general management program, and we also have airport and airline management, which I think are not always well understood, but tremendous fun. So working for an airline, people are often surprised to learn that pilots only comprise about 10 or 15% of all the employees of an airline. The rest are involved in the service of moving passengers and cargo around the world. And the students learn about finance and international finance and scheduling and marketing and that sort of thing. Airport management, we describe running the airport a little bit like a small city. So the general manager is often compared to the mayor of a city and is responsible for maintaining the roads, the retail, the police, the fire, as well as the movement of the airplanes in and out of the facility. There's about just over 19,000 airports around the country of various sizes. And you can see in this map of the New York area with the green dots, those are the airports in our area. The yellow stars are where we have internships in the area. So you can see that we're in a fortunate position to have first-hand experience for our students. And then at the bottom right is the map, is the aerial picture of LaGuardia Airport, and our college is just in the very right-hand side of that part. So we, as you saw from the video, you can see the movement of the airport. It's exciting to be at the college and have those aeroplanes. And then the interior of LaGuardia Airport, which is the award-winning facility. Other careers in, yes, the next slide, please. Other careers, of course, the technological advancement with, oh, we're back where we were. There, thank you. We're in a new phase of development of aviation with automation, electric vehicles. You can see the picture of the Joby electric air taxi flying over New York City on a test flight. And we were fortunate that they came to the college with their mobile simulator for students to try flying them. We have an industry insights speaker series. It's a virtual series where leaders from the industry come and talk. And if you would like to be included in that distribution list, please let Andrew and me know, and we'll add you to that. Some of those speakers, like the little picture in the top right-hand corner, where we teach aviation insurance, was the CEO of USAIG, who came as a speaker and has now been charmed into teaching our wonderful students. And we have other faculty members together with Loretta Alkalay, whom you'll meet in a moment. She co-teaches with the Honorable John Gollier, who is a former National Transportation Safety Board member, winner of numerous safety awards and so on. For the professional development, in the bottom right-hand corner, we offer certificate programs, which are like mini degrees in airport and airline management, the drone program, and this is the safety management systems, which I know Sildna had a talk on safety management systems a couple of months ago, but you can get the actual college credits for that training, and it's applicable in a variety of aviation, healthcare, chemical, nuclear industries. It's a great professional development program. Next, please. So the question is, we're providing all of this education that's so much fun in itself, and why do we think it's important? As Dr. DeVivo mentioned, people are traveling more and more and more. And right now there's a Boeing slide showing that the magenta line was the original projection. The blue line is where we had the huge fall off from COVID, but now we're actually back where we expected. And next, and the reasons are that, next slide, please. People are traveling more. 84% are planning to prioritize travel. More of them are traveling than in the pre-pandemic days, and trips are going to be longer. And next. And this is a slide from the International Civil Aviation Organization that shows historically, it's about operating profits. Since the 1960s, whenever there's been a major economic shock worldwide, airline and aviation profits go down, but they bounce back. The travel bounces back to a level higher than it was in the past. And not only that, but it comes back even more steeply than it was in the past. And you can see the same was projected to happen after the pandemic. And the last slide, please, is showing that indeed that has happened with US passenger airline figures that have added almost 10,000 jobs in the past 3 years. So all of this gives us great confidence that we're trying to address and explanation why there are these shortages of pilots and controllers and managers, but also that we are trying to address this very well. And you'll hear from our other faculty and students about their experiences. So I think next is Elvira, a student who can attest to this. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Elvira Pereyaslov. I am a Vaughn student. I actually transferred in. I was in an aviation management program, and I'm still in an aviation management program. I love what I do. And Vaughn has been really pivotal in getting me to where I want to go. I'm currently serving as the president of our AAAE chapter. AAAE is basically like a bridge from students, like a personal bridge almost from students to industry leaders, especially in the airport world. It's the American Association of Airport Executives, and I'll talk a little bit about what we do and how important that is for student engagement and just for personal and career development as we go on. You can go to the next slide. In this slide, you'll see that AAAE is just one among many clubs in Vaughn, and this is what I really think makes Vaughn stand apart. Not only do these clubs provide connections to the industry, they also provide students with different scholarship opportunities. They provide students with an actual peek at what their life is going to look at post-graduation. I think as a student, you can really get caught into like, oh, what does my academic life look like? What does my journey as a student look like? But I think at Vaughn, there's a very healthy relationship with not only what your life looks like as a student, but how is that gonna progress when you get into the industry, and what can you do now to help prepare yourself for that and get yourself ahead while you're just in school. You can go to the next slide. So with AAAE, it's a club that's offered to all students. We're not exclusive to management students because it's definitely good to see. I think Vaughn, every single degree at Vaughn, like we spoke about earlier, they all kind of bridge together. The industry is huge. We need engineers in aviation. We need all these different types of people in aviation. And events are beneficial to a multitude of students. We can go to the next slide and I'll get into more about those events. So we had a guest speaker. His name was Brandon. Something special about this event was not only were management students in attendance, we had a lot of engineers in attendance. This is definitely one of the events that you're able to see that bridge from a classroom to an event. We have an airport planning class, and then we get to have an airport planner come and speak to us and tell us what does your actual day look like? Because we learn about airport planning, but then we get to have a really good personal conversation with someone that's there. And he talks about what his day-to-day is like, where he's been previously, how he got here, what he likes, what maybe some things that, you know, he is looking for something different or anything like that. And it's just a really good time to have a good conversation. You can go to the next slide. We also try to, we're really blessed in New York, I think, with like Dr. Lubner was saying, with our location, with all the different airports around us, to have that airport community. And one of the big parts about that is a lot of different events around us will ask us for our involvement, and we're more than happy and willing to go to those types of things and volunteer. This is from last year. JFK Rotary Club did an event for special needs children, and I think also low income children, and we were able to pack bags for them and just spend the day with the children and kind of talk to them about aviation, or just talk to them about their lives, and just spend the day with them and be able to get out there and do some community serving. Something else, kind of piggyback off of what I said earlier, with that, you know, bridge to what does your future look like? We had an employer engagement day where there were graduate students that were in this trainee program that Lufthansa has, and they were able to talk about, you know, how they got there, and then what Lufthansa offered them and what that program looked like. But it was also just great to hear from students that were in our shoes, you know, not too long ago. So this was a really good event for students to kind of open their eyes to more possibilities post-graduation. With AAAE, like a lot of other clubs, our focuses are just on recruitment, educating on the value of AAAE involvement. There's a lot of students that come through Vaughn's doors that don't always understand that, you know, there's so many clubs that are offered that can really help boost where you are personally as a student and then in your career. And I'm really passionate about being able to share that because it's one of the reasons I came to Vaughn. I want to get a good return on my investment, and I believe that with things like this, that's the best way to do that. Being able to educate them on these things and how important it is. Like, don't get stuck in the student mindset, try to get out there. I've been able to meet with a lot of students last year that got internships this year from just being able to have those conversations with them and really challenging them to put themselves out there. And then with AAAE being a large network that is national, we're able to also kind of collaborate with other AAA student chapters. There's one in Farmingdale, New York, that's not too far out from here. Go to the next slide. Last year, we had the pleasure of bringing back an event that we used to have pre-COVID, if I'm not mistaken. I wasn't here. But we had a luncheon where we were able to honor 2 industry leaders that have contributed in great ways to Vaughn and to our students' success. On the left over there in the left picture, we have Susanna Dessa, who is the VP of Operations at JFK IIT. JFK IIT is a terminal operator at JFK. They operate Terminal 4. It's the largest international terminal in the world, if I'm not mistaken. And then on the right, we have Chris Rhodes. Chris Rhodes is a retired airport operations manager at LaGuardia Airport, and he was there through everything. If you look at LaGuardia from years ago, it's definitely not going to look how it looks today. He was able to really talk to us about how they worked through a lot of the challenges there. And then Susanna was also able to give insight on, JFK's redevelopment and how they were able to go through problems that we very soon are going to face as students that are going to be in the industry. You can go to the next slide. In this picture, this just shows this is me with my e-board from last year. And we were just able to, this is a picture that shows when we were able to give them the awards and give them that recognition, and just be able to celebrate the contributions that the community makes to Vaughn's student body. Next slide. After this luncheon, it was super special. We were able to take all the students and some faculty members that were in attendance over right across the street to LaGuardia Airport, where the Port Authority hosted a beautiful tour for us. We were able to go in the left picture. You see right there is Tony Vero. He's the airport, the general manager of LaGuardia Airport. Sitting right in front of him is Ian Van Prague, who is the landside manager. And then all around him it was like the first in command, second in command, third in command, fourth in command. And to be sitting there and realizing that the top people that are running this airport are taking time out of their day to educate us on airport operations and to really just kind of give us a glance into the very real nitty-gritty of operations. It was just really cool to be able to step back from that event and be like, wow, they were all there and they were happy and eager to take that time to share and to teach us. On the right is an ARF truck. It's a aircraft rescue firefighting. They were able to educate us on this truck. I think it holds 3,000 gallons. I think that's why it's a 33. And then there's a different one that holds 5,000. But we were able to try on different things and just get a really cool tour of that aspect of airports. And if you go to the next slide. And then continuing that tour, we were able to go over to LaGuardia Gateway Partners, which is a terminal operator at LaGuardia. LaGuardia is operated as a whole by the Port Authority, but each terminal is contracted out to a terminal operator. LGP, LaGuardia Gateway Partners, gave us a tour of their state-of-the-art baggage handling system. So this is the SEBA room. It's the checked baggage resolution area. Those tables that you see in the right image and also on the left are completely robotic tables. They know when to go to charge. They know when to be deployed. The different stations that you see on the right are where the TSA agents would be standing. And this just takes out any human element of having to bring bags. TSA agents are not supposed to be picking up bags when they're screening them. And previously it would be like a porter that would bring them. But this has just totally revolutionized that whole process, especially with LaGuardia being a very space-restricted airport. Continuing. The AAAE 96th Annual Conference. This was a near and dear conference to me because I was able to go. And the reason I was able to go is because I got Vaughn's Student Experience Fund. You get to apply to a Student Experience Fund, and Vaughn will help pay for your attendance to a conference of your choosing. And I was able to attend AAAE as being someone that was on the board. At this event, Otha was actually there, so that was really special. He was able to introduce me to a lot of people. So the connections, they never stop. You're always going to be working with these people. You see them today in class, and you're going to see them in 20 years in the work field. So it's just really cool to get an understanding of that early on, so you can really learn how to also carry yourself. So yeah, there were 2,500 aviation professionals in attendance that represented over 250 airports in attendance. I was able to speak from and learn from, I think being in New York, I was, I'm focused on LaGuardia, I'm focused on JFK, I'm focused on Newark, and I see all these big operations. But then being able to sit down with someone it was a couple that operates an airport, I think it was in Idaho, and hearing their side of it and how they're getting the funding, from NIPIAS, from all the grants that, the federal administration gives out, and how they go through those processes was also really eye-opening because it's a scale, it's a spectrum of operations, right? And yeah, you're constantly learning from people and different sizes of airport, different shapes of airports, different aspects of aviation. It all ties together, and it's just fascinating. And then again, the last thing I want to say about the conference is I think we're really blessed to be able to see these industry leaders because, like I said previously, like they're not just there to pretend like they care or pretend like they want to invest. Like, these are people that are very passionate about investing in your experience as a student. I was paired up with a mentor from who is the CFO of Richmond Airport in Virginia. I have his phone number. He's like, text me whenever you have a question about anything. And I'm like, okay, say less, I will. And it's really great to be able to have that type of dialogue. And he's more than happy to share about it. And just different, that's not the only mentor, is all I'm saying. Is it's a very cool industry. And I'm excited to be in the industry where I can eventually do that for students as well. Continuing. Okay, I think that's it for me. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Okay,
Elvira.
I've
So yeah,
unmuted
Loretta,
myself.
you're on.
Okay, well, it's my privilege to teach at Vaughn College as an adjunct. I have great comrades, if that's the right word, colleagues, comrades in arms and colleagues. I'm retired from the FAA, where I was head of the legal office in New York. I also consult, and I write articles on drones. I fly drones. I'm a licensed drone pilot, and I'm pretty active with drone groups. And that's one of the really exciting things that we've been doing lately at Vaughn, is teaching high school students college courses in different aspects of drones. And I teach the drone law part, but the engineering college teaches aerodynamics, builds drones, mapping. So it's really exciting to create the pipeline at an even younger age than the college students. So that's pretty much it for me. I also taught Otha Jonathan, so you do not get all the credit.
Some, please, some, you know.
Thank you to all my professors. I'm super grateful for all of you guys. Wow, it's a tough act to follow after all of you guys. And I taught L, so I guess it's just gonna continue to keep
Full circle.
full circle, yeah.
Circle.
Gonna continue to pass the knowledge down. All right, so my name is Otha Ward. I was born and raised in New York. I got a couple interests, but I work at JFK Airport. You go to the next slide. So I work at JFK Airport. I'm a contract administrator currently, and the two major contracts I oversee is the whole taxi dispatch system. So I oversee about 140 employees through that contract and over $9 million in assets. And then with the towing contract, obviously towing contract at JFK Airport, which is that contract's a little over 600,000 and over 20 staff. So basically, this is my college years. I went to Vaughn College. Through Vaughn, I got a bunch of internships. I was very grateful. Just like Elle talked about, I was able to go to a bunch of conferences for free through scholarships and grants that I got through some of the academic programs there. And that allowed me to widen my range and scope of ideas and possibilities, job opportunities, and internships. I started my career throughout college. I worked at Alaska Airlines. That was my first airline job. I did de-icing. De-icing was a great job. And I got that through if I'm not mistaken, that came through the school. Yeah, I got that through the school, through the employment department, where they actually hosted an event where people would hire. And the reason why the de-icing was so good is because you could do it on your own time. You only had to do it when, it was bad weather outside. So it was great because it worked around my schedule. You can go to the next slide. Early in my career, I was super blessed to get an internship with the Port Authority my last 2 years in college. So I was able to start full-time with the Port Authority in February, and I graduated in May. So I was very grateful to start my career even before I graduated. Right after I graduated from Vaughn, I went straight into my Master's in Public Administration. Super grateful that the Port Authority paid for that. So I didn't have to pay for that. And I started out in operations, where I spent most of my career before I went into management. I'm still asking myself, why did I do that? But Yeah, I started out mostly doing runway inspections, taxiway inspections, lights, signs, markings. This is pretty much everything. If you look up in the top right-hand corner, you'll see this is like during a snowstorm. This is the beginning of a snowstorm. This is us like putting the materials down so that when it snows, that first hour or two of snow, it can melt and we can keep operations going smoothly and we don't have to do snow removal until later in the snowstorm. You go to the next. Oh, I forgot to mention, when I graduated, I then hopped on the president's board and I'm able to learn from Sharon every couple of months. We hang out and we talk policies, rules, regulations as far as the school and how we can improve the student experience. So after about a year of being a AOA, what you call it, operations, an airside operations agent, then I became supervisor. Same thing. I was doing similar things, but just at a higher level and just overseeing more data and statistics. And I also started overseeing wildlife. So I became a wildlife supervisor where I had to deal with turtles, I had to deal with birds, and also had to work in the airport operations center. I also spent 6 months. One great thing about the Port Authority is because we oversee a bunch of airports, you get to transfer to different airports. So even though 90% of my career has been at JFK, I spent 6 months at Newark on a construction project. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see that's a map of Newark's airfield. So it was pretty cool having to relearn a whole new airfield once I got used to JFK's airfield. You go to the next slide. All right. Yeah, perfect. Next promotion from airside supervisor, I went landside. So now I was dealing less with planes. This is my last job before I just got promoted. And what this job is I overseen everything from roadways to anytime we had any major incidents in the terminals. I was a terminal supervisor. If you look in we could start, I guess, from the left to the right, where you see the Terminal 8, the red sign. That right there, it was a road closure because a jet blew over a bunch of canisters over the fence and went out into the road. So I had to respond, close the road, notify police, do communications, do all these good things. So I wanted to show these pictures to show that the things that we did were a wide range of things, right? So you got one where we had to close the road on the most left-hand picture. The next picture is when we had a JetBlue had a system malfunction and their baggage system went down. So we had to get our maintenance team to come out, help them. And we had to help facilitate, all people in and out, give them information, all that good stuff. And then, of course, we had buses breaking down and major car accidents. So a lot of what we do, just like I think we started, was the airport is basically just like a city, right? And in that city, so many things go wrong. Major thing with us right now with JFK redevelopment is the roadways. You can go to the next slide. A big part about the roadways is making sure that they don't get clogged up, right? Because if they get clogged up, we might end up on the news. So we don't want traffic jam to where we end up on the news, and we don't want people missing their flights. We don't want people to be safely and negatively impacted on a safety standpoint. So we want to be able to get people in and out safely. So this is my current job right now. I'm a contract administrator. And yeah, I think I talked about this. I oversee the taxis, the tows, flight information display system, and I oversee all of the fueling for our unit. So just making sure that all the bills get paid, everything is up to date, dealing with system problems, upgrading systems. So super busy. And then I think we talk about redevelopment in the next slide, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so JFK redevelopment is the biggest capital project in America currently. It's about $19 billion. So even though I'm a day-to-day contract administrator, I work with the redevelopment staff every day because we're moving taxi stands a lot to accommodate construction. One time I had 4 different redevelopment projects at once. We were moving the Terminal 1 taxi stand to accommodate for construction. We permanently moved the Terminal 7 taxi stand that same week. Terminal 4 has been moved, and then we moved Terminal 8 around. Once again, this is mostly to accommodate construction. to make sure that it doesn't negatively impact the passenger, and that once again, we keep those roads moving and safe and efficient, right? The worst thing we want is to have a backage of roadway and a traffic jam, because that could be unsafe for all of us. And then I believe that's it, or is there one more? Let's see. Oh, yeah. What's next? So if you look just like Elle talked about, we have a lot of great people in this industry. If you look to the bottom left, I was just with her the other day. This is Teresa Rizzuto, the general manager of the airport. One of the best people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. Lovely woman. She's mentored me, supported me, guided me in so many positive ways. If you look up at the top left, you'll see our executive director, Charles. He's also spoken with me, helped me, guided me, supported me. There's just a lot of movement right now, especially in the agency. And, it's been a lot of fun learning from different people. I also teach at Vaughn College. I forgot if I mentioned that. That's one of the tours we did with some of our students. I try to do a tour about once a year. And one thing, especially as I develop more and more my career, I think it's important to have a good quality of life. I use this analogy that, when I was younger in my career, I was always work, which was great. But I think that every engine, has some type of grease, right? Because if it doesn't, then it will be too much friction and you can overheat. So I think it's good to always have something healthy for yourself. That's one thing I learned at Vaughn to help develop my creativity, is to always have something healthy for yourself. So for me, that's the gym, and I like to swim on the side. All right, next. And yeah, these are just some cool planes. I think one of the best things of working at JFK is we get to see every single type of plane, from A380s to Antonovs. If anyone doesn't know what an Antonov is, it's the top right-hand plane. That was the largest aircraft in the world. I believe, unfortunately, I don't believe that one is with us anymore because of the war in Ukraine. But that was the first, if I'm not mistaken, that was the first vaccine deliveries in the U.S. was at JFK Airport, and they landed, and we were there that day. So I had a detail working that event. And yeah, we get to see a lot of cool, fun stuff. We deal with the president all the time. So it's a lot of fun stuff going on the airfield, land side. It's just a really cool and fun place to be, and very exciting. And further ado, thank you so much. And I'll pass it back to you, Andrew Young.
Thank you very much, Otha. We have one more speaker to go. So I'll invite Chaundra to come on if you're there with us.
I am here. Good evening. How is everyone? Well, I have about 9 minutes to wrap up what we've discussed. And actually, my job was all talked about through this presentation. So you all have made it easy for me to speak about what I love and I enjoy every single day. Vaughn is a very special place. If you have a chance to visit when you're over in Queens and you come through LaGuardia, make sure you give us a call and come through, because we would love to show you what we're discussing today, but you'll be able to feel the energy and the synergy that this place provides, that Otha just exuded, that Elvira just shared, that Jonathan talked about earlier. And with them all being students and employed, I find it to be an honor to be part of the piece that really helps the organization work, which is career services. Otha, you called it an employment office, but we are career services. We provide services to our students to help them throughout their careers, not just through employment, but help them to develop into the professionals that will be part of even this discussion in the future and part of your organization. What makes us stand out? Well, we are the only college that I know of that offers a career development 101 course that fits the design of our school. And so our students are not only prepared to learn about how to obtain a job, but they learn about how to become professionals in the aviation industry. The course has to start from resume development to interview preparation to internship preparation, but we also bring in industry speakers. And if you're interested in being a speaker in a CD 101 class, please feel free to reach out to Maxine or myself, and I'll be more than happy to get you on our schedule, because our students are eager to learn from any and everyone from aviation. But coming to the CD 101 classes, which are about 250 students per semester. They get to hear about what you have to offer and the employment or career or internship opportunities that are available in your organization. So it's not just a class, it's an experiential learning that our students get to be a part of when learning about their career. We also help our students with internship support. Not only do our students secure internships, but Vaughn has the ability through grants to provide relocation assistance to get our students up and running, so they're not going to these internships not prepared. They're able to take care of some of the incidentals that cost when going to internships, but our students are well prepared when they start. We also prepare them for their internships. We make sure that they have what they need in addition to financial support, but also the social and emotional support to be working in the workforce. Professional development workshops. We have a series called the Professional Development Workshop Series, where we talk about resumes, interviews, and conference networking. One of the things I think you heard Elvira talk about was she attended conferences, and Jonathan spoke about the conferences of the engineering department. Our students get to go early as freshman year to experience what it is like to be in industry and to be able to present, but also to socialize and network with people in the industry so they can prepare for future employment and learn early what is expected of them. Site visits. Well, it's nice to be able to learn about where you're going to work, but it's more important to know where you're going to work. And when you go to a site visit and visit our employers, many of our employer partners sign up with us so our students can come out and see what it's like to be day to day. And our office coordinates that. And we also work with the student clubs. So you heard how Elvira was able to do, her club was able to meet some of the industry experts and some of the drivers at JFK, Susanna, and some of the people they give awards to. Well, they contacted our office and we were able to help get that with them. So we do collaborate with the student clubs to help them with their professional journeys. Employee engagement days. Love these, love these, love these. These are like individual career fairs for employers by themselves. You come to campus from 10 to 2, any time of the day of any semester, fall or spring, and we will host you on our campus, let our students know, and you have our students all to yourself and able to speak to what you have to offer, and you're not competing with any other industry partner. It's just you and our students from 10 to 2, and we just have Lufthansa this past Thursday, and it was a hit. I think they met with they signed 35 students signed up with them, and I think they left with a handful of students ready to go and join their organization. So you can easily meet with us and meet with our students and leave with some employees. Networking opportunities. It just keeps getting better and better. We have the privilege of having, as you can hear, a lot of our faculty come from industry. Loretta worked with the FAA. Dr. Lubner is on this board. Dr. DeVivo is part of the Wings Club. She's on the board. Well, just this past Thursday, our students were able to attend a monthly meeting at the Wings Club with CEOs and executives from the aviation industry, and a chance to network and a chance to answer and ask questions during the general session and make an impact and be able to share what they've learned thus far. And boy, was the industry impressed with our students. So our students get to leave not only their impact, but they get to leave with connections that they can follow with for future employment opportunities. And career fairs. While these are general to our services that we provide for career services, they are the most impactful because our students get to meet on campus, on their turf, with employers who want to come and hire them and learn more about what they have to offer. And we have those twice a year, spring and fall. And once we get to the next slide, you'll get to see some of our employer partners. Our Dress for Success fashion show is always about how to dress in this professional world and how to dress in the changing times of aviation. But we want to make sure that our students are presented in the most professional way, because you are how you present yourself. And we are proud to always announce that we have 95% of graduates that are employed or continuing their education when they leave Vaughn. Next slide, please. And these are just some of the many, many employer partners that we get to entertain, but also come and assist us with our workshops that have internship programs developed. JFK, IET, and LaGuardia Gateway Partners are two of our airport employer partners who have internship programs developed by our office that our students are currently working through. JFK just hired 5 students from our career fair. They'll be starting at the beginning of this holiday season. We're excited about that. You can see our airline partners. You can see our transportation partners. They might not necessarily be aviation, but they share transportation. We have our engineering partners. Some are local, like Con Ed, Collins Aerospace. Some are national, global, like Boeing. And then we have some just the NYPD. We just engaged with them and their drone unit and how we can work with them and how maybe they have additional opportunities with their vendors for our students to be of assistance. And so we're always making sure that we can make new development partners with our aviation industry partners, but also those who are in aviation adjacent and work with our students. I love my job at Vaughn. It's great to be here. And at 6:59, I think I tried to wrap it up as much as I can. You have a few questions in the chat, and thank you very much.
It's wonderful. Chaundra, your timing is impeccable. You finished right on the hour. So thank you so much for that. So we are up to the hour. Can I just, first of all, thank all of the speakers for your presentations today. I am just kind of amazed by the level of passion that you all have. Hearing from, I think, the students and your alumni, it's just wonderful to hear how you're setting people up for a career in such an important industry for not just the US, but globally. I would like to remind everyone that's here that we have recorded this session, and we're going to have this whole recording available on CILT's YouTube channel. What I'm also going to do is make sure that this is shared with our international branches as well. So as I said, we're in about 40 countries around the world. Unfortunately, when we do live events in North America, the rest of the world is always in bed. So they'll only be able to see the recording, but I think it's going to be really important that we can share what Vaughn can offer to people outside of the US as well. The presentation that we've had today, so Sharon and the team have kindly allowed us to share that with you. So everybody who's been registered will get a copy of that. And if you know somebody who has missed today's session and will be interested in it, then you'll also be receiving a link to where you can find this recording. So please share that around. I think it would be a crime if we don't allow more and more people to view what we've talked about tonight. One last thing is, we did get one question came through. That's Dr. Rue from Carleton University. If you don't mind, Mark, I kind of just capture that and I'll share that with the Vaughn team to maybe follow up with you directly. That could be something where maybe you could be working together in the future. So I'm really conscious of the time. I think we did well to keep this within 1 hour. So on behalf of CILT, thank you very much indeed, all of you from Vaughn College. This was probably one of the best sessions that we've had in a long time. So grateful for your contributions, and we look forward to doing something with you again in the near future. So thank you.
Thank you for having us, Andrew.
Thanks
Really
for
a
having us.
pleasure. Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. And Evan LaGuardia, come and visit. Reach out to visit. We're there.
It's a beautiful airport now.